74 hours, these competitors sitting to your left have endured a series of technical, tactical, physical, and mental tasks ranging from written examinations, night land navigation, Army warrior tasks and battle drills, decontamination operations, sampling techniques, CBRN warning and reporting, as well as a non-standard fitness test. To say this week was a grueling one would be an understatement. Each competitor was tested both mentally and physically and should be extremely proud of themselves and their organization. Please enjoy this video documenting this year's competition. Please welcome to the stage our Regimental Command Sergeant Major, who will now give remarks and introduce our second guest speaker.
No class.
Yes! Hey, good morning. Actually, good afternoon. I'm sorry. I'm running off 2 hours sleep. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. The time has come for us to finally identify this year's Best Seaman Warriors. And so, what I wanted to do is give a little bit of background before I bring up Sergeant Major Alston. And so, if you didn't know, this is the 20th anniversary of when we kicked off the Dragon Speed competition, which initially identified the best chemical NCO and Soldier of the Year. And it's pretty cool because I remember that competition. I participated in it. I didn't win, but I participated in it. And it's cool to see the transition of how the competition has gone over the years. So as it started, it was NCO and Soldier of the Year, and then it transitioned to being a team competition, which is great because there's nothing that we do that we're not tagged or teamed up with somebody else. It's hard to do our mission alone. So it was great that that transition occurred. But one of the things that you will notice about some of our earlier competitions is that the competition was more of a chemical or chemical biological competition. And last year under Ray Kittibois, we transitioned the competition so it was a full CBRN competition. And we continued that this year, as you saw in some of the things. So we tried to figure out how can we ensure that we have tasks that represent chem, bio, rad, and nuke. One of the initiatives that we looked at this year is the number 74, and we tried to incorporate the number 74 into as much of this competition as possible. And why is that? Is because we are CMF 74. Cool. So the first thing we did is we took the competition down from 96 hours to 74 hours. We started at 08 on on Friday, and we finished at 1000 this morning. And so as we went through and we looked at all the things that we could have, we wanted to make sure we have a good balance of technical tasks, tactical tasks, physical tasks, and some mental tasks. So what did we do? We brought them in. The first thing, we started off with 3 events going on, a written test. Anybody want to guess how many questions on that test? 74 questions. We took them into the RAD lab to do RAD a new plane, and we had our first CBRN task evaluation, which they had a bunch of little pieces and had to make their own sand table for how to set up a decontamination line. Then we took them out to Rubidoux Park down in Waynesville. It was the first time that we've done an event off of the installation for the Best CBRN Warrior competition. And it was a big hit and everybody enjoyed it. That's where you saw the box jumps and everything. So how do we incorporate 74 into that? We had 7 initial stations, and they did that exercise for 4 minutes as a team going back and forth. And then when they finished, they had to go and run a 740-meter run down and turn around and run 740 meters back. And so we got them back to the barracks, let them get a little bit of rest, and then the next morning, we started off with the CBRN endurance event. 74 hours running with your CBRN protective mask on, but they got to alternate back and forth. But I do want to give a shout out to Sergeant Jermaine. Sergeant Jermaine, stand up. Laps, to get max points, it was 32 laps in 74 minutes. Sergeant Jermaine, with his mask on, ran 30 out of 32 laps straight.
Yeah!
We had me feeling tired. So then after we finished with the CBRN endurance event, we took them down over to Nord Hall, and we had a tactical lane, we had medical task evaluation, we had decontamination, immediate operational thorough, how to run the M12, which some of our competitors hadn't seen in like forever and a day. And then we had our first mystery event. We took them over to the museum and we gave them a scavenger hunt where they had to go find different things. And it's funny looking at them going through. The same thing happened when we did the best squad competition for TRADOC last year. Some of the team members forgot that they were doing a test and they were just paying attention to all the cool stuff that we have in our museum, which is kind of funny. So after we did all of those 3, then we took them over to the physical endurance confidence course, conditioning course. And they did a great job running through all the obstacles. Just when we thought we had them tired, we didn't. We put them on a 2-mile run to run over to the land nav course. And then they did 9 land nav on the hardest course we have here. It is not self-correcting, and it was at night. And one of the things, you know how sometimes jokes just write themselves, right? And so leading up to that point.
Don't do it.
Don't do it? Should I do it?
Do it! Do it!
Should I do it?
Do it! Do it!
I'm looking for him. Should I do it?
Do it! Vipers!
All right, so we had a team from 501st that was killing it.
Line up.
2 second lieutenants, like 3 months in the Army, were leading the competition. Then we hit land nav. They weren't in first place anymore, but they still did great because they were the top 12 teams competing.
I say, hold! Line up!
So after we finished night land nav, they got to the barracks probably around 2 o'clock in the morning. Got to sleep probably around 2:30. The next day, they got up and we took them on a unknown distance foot march, but they figured out what the distance was, 7.4 miles. But what they didn't know is when they hit the turn on Mickey's On Trail, about 3/4 of a mile left, we hit them with gas, 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 and they had to finish it with the protective mask on, and they went straight to the range, and they did CBRN marksmanship, standing unsupported with the mask on. And at that point, I think most of them were culminated. But what we did is we had mystery event number 2. So I walked in, I was like, hey, y'all ready for mystery event number 2? And it was like, yes. It's like, what do you think we're gonna do? They said a couple things. I said, mystery event number 2 is a layout, because we didn't do one. And the eyes and the heads of people that just failed. Because some teams got 0 points because we deducted points for every piece that they were missing. But what that gets after is PCCs, PCIs, attention to detail, the things that we need to ensure that we have in order for us to be effective on the battlefield. And so after we finished going through all of that, we took them over to the Terry facility, and that's when they had to do the chem bio lane, We had our word task evaluation down at the at the 43rd track. And I can't think of the other event that we had. But I tell you, we put them through a lot. And there was a lot that was physical. And sometimes we sit back and we think, did we put too much physical in there? But one of the things we have to understand as CBRN soldiers is we cannot accomplish our task on the objective if we cannot get to the objective. And so that's the emphasis on some of the physical stuff that we had. But it was a great competition, getting ready to identify who the best, our best teams are. But before we do, as you see the 3 tables out here and the table here, our association has been working hard to identify organizations that wanted to donate different gifts and prizes for our competitors. And we thank you all for everything that you donated to us, and we'll go over some of those later. But it was so awesome, and some of you are going to get to walk off with some of this, but what I want to do now is turn the floor over to our 10th Regimental Command Sergeant Major Austin. And so for those of you that may not know, he was the regimental CSM when the Dragon Speed competition started. And when it started, the winners received what we call the Command Sergeant Major George Murray Leadership Award. We actually have a bust of them over in the decon barn. But you also know last year we dedicated the competition to Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Johnson. And so one of the ways that we wanted to bridge both the original and the current is we're maintaining the name of the competition as the Sergeant First Class Jeremiah J.W. Johnson Best CBRN Warrior competition, but the cup that the team will receive starting this year will now be known as the Murray Cup. And so, again, to talk about some of the reasons why we started the competition in the first place, I would like to bring to the stage our 10th Regimental Command Sergeant Major and the former Command Sergeant Major for U.S. Strategic Command, Command Sergeant Major retired Austin.
But I tell you, it's got to be good to be home. It is an honor and a privilege to be here to address Dragon soldiers, because I will tell you, this is where it all began for me. It all began right here with a great officer taking an opportunity to mentor, coach, teach, and train me and never forget me. So please join me as I give a salute to what I consider one of the greatest officers to ever be in the United States Army Chemical Corps, and one that truly showed each and every day what it meant to look out for those beneath him and allow me to stand on his shoulders as I matriculated to the levels that I was at. Please get on your feet for none other than General John C. Dozier. A conversation that happened some 21 years, 12 months, 11 months, 12 hours, and 14 minutes ago from this exact minute. And that's when I walked over the threshold of General Lilly's office. I said, sir, I understand one thing that's going on within your shot group, and that is you're trying to make sure that you are prepared to answer the question of not your boss, but your boss's boss. For all you non-commissioned officers, I hope you got that nugget. You must be prepared to articulate answers not to your boss's boss, but your boss's boss. And so that conversation happened in 2024. And what did we just face, in 2004? And what did we just face in 2003? We faced the fact that we invaded Iraq, and we was worried about Saddam Hussein having what? Weapons of mass destruction. And so the Chemical Corps went from nobody to somebody overnight. And the boss was trying to articulate in his mind, how do I ensure that my corps is proficient? And so as I walked in the office, I said, sir, I think I got an answer to the question that is going around and around in your mind. I think we should establish a competition. Like you were probably saying now, he said to me, Sergeant Major, did you fall off the turnip truck? What do you mean a competition? I said, sir, there is no better way to ensure that we evaluate the proficiency across the Corps than to have a capstone competition that will determine the best of the best. Because see, once you put competition into that equation, people start to prepare, and people start to get ready, and people start to evaluate. And so I said, let them evaluate for us, and let's bring the best of the best to the home of the Chemical Corps and establish the merry winner. He said, Sormy, that may scratch the itch. And so we started dragging Pete. We started dragging Pete. And some 20 years, 14 hours, 9 minutes ago, we anointed the first two winners. We anointed the first two winners with the bust of the first honorary regimental sergeant major, Marion. And from that point on, I have watched this baby birth. I have watched this baby go from a competition of individuals to a competition of teams. I watch it go from evaluating proficiency with one to proficiency with all. And so I'm here to tell you, Chemical Corps, you on to it. You have taken something and made it an everlasting endeavor. And for that, I thank you. I thank you for taking the idea of an old sergeant major who thought that proficiency could be measured in no other way but competition and allow it to resonate today. Now I will tell you, the regimental sergeant major did compete in the first one. We had 10 non-commissioned officers compete. Guess what place it came in? 11. And I'm also here to tell you that all the stuff he created for you guys, he couldn't do none of it. It's funny how when you get to the top, you elevate your thoughts. When Sergeant Major was in BNOC back then, I had to do everything I could to give him every waiver to get him over the line. but Sergeant Major, today I'm honored to see you as a regimental Sergeant Major. I know that when the Commandant had to make that decision, it was a hard decision. But because it was 1 of 1, you made it. God bless you.
We would now like to introduce you to the competitors of the 2025 Sergeant First Class Jeremiah W. Johnson Best CBRN Warrior Competition. Please feel free to applaud and cheer loudly for each team as they are shown on the screen. Team number 1, from the Defense CBRN Center, United Kingdom, is Sergeant Paul McGregor and Corporal Cole Thornton. Team number 2, from the 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, is Second Lieutenant Zachary Irwin and Sergeant Liam Merrihew. Team number 3, from the 26th Chemical Company, 7th Special Forces Group, Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, is Captain Cameron Trump and Staff Sergeant Esteban Ayala. Team number 4, 82nd Airborne Division, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, is Sergeant David Gifford and Sergeant Gabriel Garcia. Team number 5, from 82nd Airborne Division, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, is Sergeant Freeman McGaw and Sergeant D. Germain. Team number 6, from the 368 Training Squadron, Fort Leonard, Missouri, U.S. Air Force, is Staff Sergeant Luke Liquidus and Technical Sergeant Robert Sherwood. Team number 7, from Bravo Company, 84th Chemical Battalion, Fort Leonard, Missouri, is Staff Sergeant John Myers and Staff Sergeant Christopher Wells. Team number 8, from U.S. Army Europe, U.S. Army Reserve, Stuttgart, Germany, is Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Barter and Sergeant Spencer Casper. Team number 9, from the Operations Group at the National Training Center, Fort Irwin, California, is Captain Anthony Diaz and Staff Sergeant Manuel Torres. Team number 10, from the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment, Fort Cavazos, Texas, is First Lieutenant Luke Heisler and Staff Sergeant Philip Brown. Team number 11, from the 4th Infantry Division, Fort Carson, Colorado, is Captain Noah Sarin and Staff Sergeant Daniel Fincher. Team number 12, from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, is Staff Sergeant Joseph Carey and Staff Sergeant Joseph Stone. Team number 13, from the 9th Suburni Company, 110th Chemical Battalion, Joint Base Lewis McCord, Washington, is First Lieutenant Melvin Scott III and Specialist Marcos Valdez. Team number 14, from the Chemical Biological Incident Response Force, U.S. Marine Corps, Indian Head, Maryland, is Corporal Jared Hermanson and Lance Corporal Ian Dunbar. Team number 15, from the 44th Chemical Company, 22nd Chemical Battalion, Fort Bliss, Texas, is Sergeant Colin Lewis and Private First Class Alex Mendoza. Team number 16, from the 172nd Chemical Company, 2nd Chemical Battalion, Fort Riley, Kansas, is Staff Sergeant Christopher Chapman and Staff Sergeant Brandon Quintanano. Team number 17, from the 172nd Chemical Company, 2nd Chemical Battalion, Fort Riley, Kansas, is Specialist Cameron Bryant and Specialist Jasper Maxey. Team number 18, from the 51st Chemical Company, 83rd Chemical Battalion, Fort Stewart, Georgia, is Sergeant Rogelio Jesus Perez and Sergeant Junshua Mu. Team number 19, from the 61st Chemical Company, 23rd Chemical Battalion, Camp Humphreys, Korea, is Sergeant First Class Herman Bacheka and Private First Class Ethan Shepard. Team number 20, from the 501st Suburni Company, 23rd Chemical Battalion, Camp Humphreys, Korea, is Second Lieutenant Evelyn Ayers and Second Lieutenant Samantha Linton. And last, but not least, Team number 22, from the 25th Infantry Division, U.S. Army Pacific, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, is Specialist Jeremiah Lavely and Specialist Edison Medina. Please join me in a round of applause to recognize the 2025 Best Seabird Warrior Competition competitors. Now coming to the stage is the regimental leadership.
Don't worry about it.
The regimental leadership will now present awards and prizes to the top 3 highest scoring teams in the 2025 Sergeant First Class Jeremiah W. Johnson Best Seabird Warrior Competition.
Third place for the 2025 Best Seaborn Warrior competition goes to. Okay, never mind, I'm sorry. It's gonna maybe talk about 5 more minutes. Third place team, number 6. Aim high.
And a little to the right.
The Army Achievement Medal is presented to Staff Sergeant Luke Liquanis and Technical Sergeant Robert Sherwood for outstanding achievement by placing 3rd overall in the 2025 Best Seaborn Warrior Competition from 30 May to 2 June 2025. Their actions reflect great credit upon themselves, the Chemical Corps Regiment, and the United States Army.
Pictures. There we go.
The 3rd place team will also receive a 3rd place plaque, a Yeti loadout go box, a Leatherman Wave Plus, a Cabela's Alaskan Guide headlamp, and a Spyderco Andela Warncliffe.
Second place for the Chemical Corps weight loss, the Best Seaborn Warrior competition goes to Team 11.
The Army Commendation Medal is presented to Captain Noah Sarin and Staff Sergeant Daniel Fincher for commendable achievement by placing 2nd overall in the 2025 Best Seaborn Warrior Competition from 30 May to 2 June 2025. Their actions reflect great credit upon themselves, the Chemical Corps Regiment, and the United States Army.
All right, round of applause.
The 2nd place team will also receive a 2nd place plaque, a Yeti Ranchero backpack, a Leatherman Wave Plus, a Phoenix headlamp, and a Spyderco Andela Warncliffe. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. This year's competition started off with 21 teams, comprised of 42 competitors from across the globe, which included teams from the U.S. Army Active Component, U.S. Army Reserve, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Air Force, and 1 international team from the United Kingdom. Yet, as with all competitions, there can only be one winner. Only one team can earn the coveted title of 2025 Best Seaborn Warrior.
Before I call this out, I do want to say this. I said this to the competitors the day that they started this. We're about to announce the Best Seaborn Warrior in the world. This is not an American competition. All Seaborn soldiers that are looking at 2026, you have 363 days to get ready. The Air Force is coming for you. The Marine Corps wants this. Our brothers and sisters across the pond want this. So this is your challenge. Start getting ready, 363 days. The best CBRN warrior for 2025 goes to Team 12.
The Meritorious Service Medal is presented to Staff Sergeant Joseph Carey and Staff Sergeant Joseph Stone for meritorious achievement by placing first overall in the 2025 Best CBRN Warrior Competition from 30 May to 2 June 2025. Their actions reflect distinct credit upon themselves, the Chemical Corps Regiment, and the United States Army. The first place team will receive a first place Crystal Cup trophy, Yeti Ranchero backpack, a Garmin Instinct 2X Solar GPS smartwatch, a Leatherman Mud Super Tool, a Smith & Wesson M9 bayonet, a Spyder Co. Mannix 2 Triangle Sharp Maker, and a trucker's hat. In addition, they will receive a coin rack from the Regimental Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Henderson with coins from leaders and units from across our regiment. Let us give a round of applause to the 2025 Best CBRN Warriors. In addition to the prizes already stated, each competitor this year will receive a laser-engraved water bottle and bottle opener from Command Sergeant Major Retired Robert Aldenberg, a 2-year membership to AUSA, a Best CBRN Warrior Competition t-shirt, and a Chemical Corps stuff sack. Please join me in a final round of applause for all of the 2025 competitors and our Best CBRN Service Members. This concludes the 2025 Sergeant First Class Jeremiah W. Johnson Best CBRN Warrior Competition Awards Ceremony. The top 3 teams will remain on stage for pictures and congratulatory remarks. Thank you for attending. Elementis Regamus Borellium. Victory through skill,